Om Shanti and a very good morning. Today's Murli, as the song suggests, is on our karmas, and we shall look at what Baba has to say through this Murli, which is dated 19th March 1982. And the title of the Murli is Actions Are the Mirror That Reflects the Soul. Let's take a couple of moments to just stabilize ourselves. Today, the Almighty Authority, Father, is pleased to see his Shakti army. To what extent has each of you Master Almighty souls imbibed all powers within yourself? You know all the main powers very well, and you have created your own picture based on them. This picture is a sign of the living form. It is the indication of your nobility, that is, your greatness. When each action is elevated and great, it proves that you have used your powers in action, in practice. When each action is elevated and great, it proves that you have used your powers in action and in practice. Whether souls are weak or powerful, whether they are full of all powers or complete embodiments of power, this is known through their actions because they have to come into connection with people and they have to interact in situations. This is why there are the terms karma kshetra, that is the field of action, karma sambandh, relationships through actions, karma indriya, that is organs with which these actions are performed, that is the physical senses, karma bhog, that is suffering of karma, and karma yoga, that is yoga whilst in action. Therefore, the speciality of this physical world is karma, that is action. Just as the speciality of the incorporeal world is to be beyond action, that is, to be detached from action, so the corporeal world means action. If actions are elevated, then the reward too is elevated. When actions are corrupt, sorrow is the reward. However, the basis of both is action. Your actions are the mirror that gives a vision of a soul. Through the mirror of action, you can recognize your form of power. If no power is revealed through action, then no matter how much someone says that he is a master, almighty authority, if that hasn't been revealed through his actions while on the field of action, would anyone then believe him? For instance, Baba gives an example. Although someone may claim to be a very good soldier or very good at fighting, if he is not able to fight with an enemy on the battlefield and is defeated, would anyone believe that he is a good soldier? In the same way, someone may intellectually consider himself to be an embodiment of power. Someone may intellectually consider himself to be an embodiment of power. But if he is unable to use that particular power in a difficult situation or when coming into connection with others, at the time when he needs a particular power, would anyone believe that he is an embodiment of power? Simply for your intellect to understand this is just like you sitting at home and considering yourself to be very clever. Simply for your intellect to understand this is just like you sitting at home and considering yourself to be very clever. However, if you don't show that form at that time, if you are unable to use the power you need at that time, if you remember it after the time has passed, would you then be called an embodiment of power? This greatness is needed in action. Use the power in action according to the time. So, check your activity throughout the whole day to see to what extent you have become a master, almighty authority. Which special power makes you victorious at the right time? And in which power are you weak and thus repeatedly defeated? Some children know in which powers they are weak, and they even speak of them, but only in an ordinary way. When there is a virtue filled gathering or in an atmosphere of similar effort makers. So, some children, they know in which powers they are weak, and they even speak of them, but only in an ordinary way. And that also when there is a virtue filled gathering or in an atmosphere of similar effort makers. The majority try to hide their weaknesses from others. Some speak of their weaknesses at that time, but they don't have that much recognition of the seed of that weakness. They don't go to the source of that weakness. They speak about it superficially. They speak at length of the external form, but they do not reach the seed. Therefore, what is the result? They prune the branches of that weakness and thereby feel for a short time as though that weakness has finished. They prune the branches of that weakness and they thereby feel for a short time as though that weakness has finished. However, because the seed is still there, it has not been addressed from the source, because the seed is still there, because it receives the water of various situations, the branches of that same weakness starts to grow again. Nowadays, illnesses in the world are not permanently cured because doctors don't know the seed of the illness. This is why the illness is suppressed but isn't completely cured. Similarly, here too, finish the seed by knowing the seed. Finish the seed by knowing the seed. Some of you even know the seed, but because of carelessness, you say, yes, it will happen at some time. You tell yourself it won't be finished in just one go, and you justify by saying it definitely takes time. They try to be very clever in this way. At the time when they have to become powerful, they become knowledgeful, and knowledge without action has no value. Knowledge is certainly a power, but they don't use that knowledge as a form of power. They just use it in a form of a point. Each point of knowledge is a weapon, but they don't use it in the form of a weapon. Therefore, understand the seed and don't allow anything to be lacking due to carelessness that would stop you becoming complete and perfect. If, after understanding the seed, you experience yourself to have the power to know the seed, but not the power to burn the seed, you can then take help from the many elevated souls who are embodiments of intense yoga, that is, Jwala Sarup souls. If after understanding the seed, you experience yourself to have the power to know the seed, you know what the weakness is, you know where it is coming from, but you do not have the power to burn that seed. You can then take help from the many elevated souls who are embodiments of intense yoga, who are Jwala Swarup, who have not only known the seed, but they've also been successful in burning the seed. Because souls are weak, they are unable to have a direct connection with the Father or to take correction from the Father. So they have to take cooperation from the second number elevated souls and have themselves verified. By having yourself verified, you will easily be purified. So know the seed, burn the seed. If you are unable to burn the seed, take help from these elevated souls. Have yourself verified, and once you have yourself verified, you will easily be purified. So, do you understand what you have to check and how? Firstly, Baba is showing the way you can burn the seed. Firstly, don't hide anything. Secondly, don't ignore anything whilst knowing it. Don't just make do. Don't allow yourself to be controlled by it, driven by it. When you just make do, you also cry out because you are tolerating. So, today Bap Dada was looking at the Shakti, at the power of the Shakti army. Now, use the powers you have attained because it is your actions that give your introduction to all the souls of the world. It is through your actions that they will see easily come to know you. Actions are more gross than thoughts, which are subtle energy. Souls of today are able to recognize the physical form very quickly. Generally, subtle energy is much more elevated than physical, but it is very difficult now for people to catch vibrations of the subtle power. Power that is of the body that one uses to cause results is there, but there is much more power in the soul. So, generally, subtle energy is much more elevated than physical, but it is very difficult now for people to catch vibrations of the subtle power. Through the power of your actions, they will continue to come to know the power of your thoughts. Serving through the mind is more elevated than serving through actions. Through the power of your actions, they will continue to come to know the power of your thoughts. Serving through the mind is more elevated than serving through actions. The service you do to transform the attitudes and atmosphere through your attitude is extremely elevated. The service you do to transform the attitudes and atmosphere through your attitude is extremely elevated. Nevertheless, it is easier to perform actions than to do that. You have also been given this definition before, but today, Baba is clarifying the aspect of giving a glimpse or vision of you being an embodiment of power through your actions. Baba is clarifying the aspect of giving a glimpse or vision of what it would look like of you being an embodiment of power through your actions. It will become easier for the power of your thoughts to reach them through your actions. Otherwise, weak actions and the subtle energy will bring down the intellect and your thoughts. just as the Earth's gravity brings down from above. Therefore, put that vision into a practice. Acha, to those who reveal every power through their actions, to those who reveal the Almighty Authority Father through being embodiment of power, to those who are embodiments of power and who constantly recognize and then transform themselves, to those who constantly grant a vision of the unique Father through their activities, to such Master Almighty Authority souls who perform elevated actions, to the souls who are embodiments of power, Bapdada's love, remembrance, and Namaste. To those who reveal every power through their actions, to those who reveal the Almighty Authority Father through being embodiments of power, to those who are embodiments of power and who constantly recognize and then transform themselves, to those who constantly grant a vision of the unique Father through their activities, to such Master Almighty Authority souls who perform elevated actions, to the souls who are embodiments of power, Bapdada's love, remembrance, and Namaste. And from us children, love, remembrance, and Namaste to our dear sweet Bapdada. Now, Bapdadas meet in groups. The result of giving Maya hospitality is sadness. Very nicely, Baba said here about how we entertain Maya. The result of giving Maya hospitality is sadness. Do you consider yourself to be Bapdada's companions? The sign of your constantly experiencing the Father's company is constant victory. The more you are in Father's company, the more you're in the state of constant victory. If you spend a lot of time battling and finding everything as hard work, it proves that you don't have the Father's company. Those who experience His company constantly remain absorbed in love for Him. Those who experience His company, they don't have to bother. They just constantly remain absorbed in the love for Him. A soul merged in the ocean of love cannot be influenced by anyone else. It is not a big thing for Maya to come, but do not let her show her form. If Maya comes, she is going to come, but you do not let her show. Don't give her that power that she can show her form. By offering hospitality to Maya, you experience sadness as you move along. You feel you are neither moving forward nor moving backward. You are unable to move backward or forward. This is the influence of Maya. The attraction of Maya doesn't allow you to fly. In fact, there is no question of moving backward anyway. However, if you're not moving forward, then check the seed and burn it. Don't think, I'm moving along, I'm coming, I'm listening. I'm serving according to my capacity. Don't think like that. Instead of doing that, check to what extent there is progress in your speed and your stage. Acha, only those who surrender to the Father with one strike become a Mahaprasad, that is, a great offering. The golden word here is surrendering to the Father. Are all of you children especially experiencing your inheritance of the stage of liberation in life? Are you liberated in life or bound in life? To be a trustee means to be one who is liberated in life, not being in the body consciousness, not being in the world of attachment, but being as a trustee, not standing in the possession of anything or anyone, just being a trustee. To be a trustee means to be one with who is liberated in life. So, have you died alive or are you still dying? For how many years will you still be dying? On the path of devotion, what do they offer as prasad? That is bhog to the non-living idols. What is sacrificed instantly in one strike? A sacrifice that dies crying out cannot be offered as prasad. What is sacrificed instantly with one strike? We see how a coconut is offered to the non living idols, and they look at the coconut breaking in just one strike. Only those who sacrifice themselves with one strike become prasad in front of the Father. Only those who surrender themselves in one go. It is an instant sacrifice for those who consider everything and think, I am Baba's, Baba is mine. As soon as you have the thought, everything is finished and you are struck by the sword. You are one who has been sacrificed in an instant. If you think I will become that, it will happen, and constantly put everything off until some time ahead, that is like crying out. If you think I will become that, it will happen one day, someday, and then you constantly put everything off until some time ahead. That is like crying out. But if you're struck by the sword, in one time, you are being one who has been sacrificed in an instant. Those who constantly think in that way cannot be liberated in life. As soon as you say Baba, then as is the father, so the children. It is not possible for the father to be the ocean and the children to be beggars. The father has made you an offer, and the offer is belong to me. Surrender to me, belong to me. There is nothing to think about in this. Acha, Om Shanti. Let's take a couple of moments to revisit the wonderful learnings through this deep, intense Murli and come back ready to share. All right, you can now choose to unmute yourself and share.
Om Shanti, Vimesh Bhai.
Yes, man.
Om Shanti. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Oh, I think it was. Sometimes you get these what we call it as capsule knowledge. This was. I don't know. It was something very different kind of things which we took in our minds today. Like when we were young, we have often heard this common saying, "Actions speak louder than words." Um, but there only it was actions speak louder than words. But here, the way Baba has related it to why we, his children, have to realize about this karma, why karma is the mirror. So much more vritti seva, mansa seva, Vayumandal seva, everything Baba has just cut off and said, whatever seva, that and all, that is very extremely, extremely elevated, come down to the normal thing by doing just simple karma, because that is much more transparent, much more catchable by the souls of today than any other kind of seva. Every other seva, he has put it on a college level or PhD level or something. That's what I really felt the way he spoke. And he took the whole family of karma kshetra, karma sambandh, karma India, which he generally touches. That's why I said it was something, a more deeper level of karma which I heard. But in the first part, Baba just speaks why our actions are not loud, why our actions are weak, why our actions are not powerful. But that is just, and why, simple reason he says, you do not know, like so well he explained about that seed, the branches. If the those something, I don't know what is that thing called in nature, when that creeps in, no, they say if you don't cut the weed, then the crop will go. So how to cut the weed, how you have to remove the carelessness. But you say it's okay, tomorrow I can do it. But only three things which I like over here is: don't hide anything, don't ignore anything after knowing, don't just make do. So these three don'ts he has told us after giving us what is the illness we have, why we are not able to recognize. And why should I do it? Because today's souls will not be able to catch your thoughts. They won't be able to know that they only see ये क्या कर रहा है, ये क्या बोल रहा है. So I think that was the second point. Why I should do this? Just one thing, to make souls see as I am. If you want them to, you are the Almighty authority to be revealed, karma. I think so much more, but this is, I'm just sharing the crux of it. But I like these three don'ts. Of course, then, as you have already you gave about the first point, the second point, what we have to do firstly, and all that is all action plan. I think really one has to draw a flow chart, and how well it comes back to Isaac Newton. If you throw an apple, it comes down. So what would happen if suppose your actions are weak, all down, intellect down, thoughts down, everything down? It was a beautiful flow chart which I'm just trying to take in my mind, Dimeshwar.
Baba said, all knowledge without action has no value. What Baba said about pruning is when we trim and make it look presentable, but when we don't finish it from the source, from there the weeds start coming back again, and you continue living a limited life. So, going to the seed of it, recognizing the seed, and then getting done with the seed, from where those thoughts and those actions are arriving, which are allowing you to live a limited life, which is coming in the way of you being elevated. And then taking support from those Jwalamukhis who have been traveled on that road and done that. How Maya stops us, how our attachments stop us from expanding and elevating ourselves. Very nicely, the whole concept, the learning has been encapsulated in this Murli. Thank you, Kechaban.
Om Shanti, brother. So, Baba also today mentioned about don't welcome Maya. So, be seated in your highest seat of attitude, highest attitude. So, then Maya has no power to come. That's my takeaway, brother.
Yes. Maya's job
Yesterday,
is. Yes, yes, sister. Continue. Yeah, please continue.
in yesterday's Varadan also, Baba mentioned about Brahmins, Sreshta Sthiti is the highest Sthiti, that's your property. Then you become Befikar Badasha. So that is seat, highest seat where we sit. That is, we can overcome all the problems.
Yes.
So
Maya
also,
will come. Yes.
Mm.
Yes, go on. I'm
Also,
listening. We are listening.
also Baba mentioned with through your attitude, first have a vision glance, and then actions will proceed soon automatically. So don't drop out your weak seeds. So burnt out that.
Hmm.
That's also brother. Brother, you continue, brother.
Yeah, yeah. We're allowing it to sink in, whatever you said. I was just referring to this point which Baba said that some children know in which powers they are weak, and they even speak of them, but they speak in an ordinary way. They speak about it as knowledge. And when there is a gathering or an atmosphere of similar spiritualities who are also having that kind of experiences, the majority try to hide their weaknesses from others. So inside the intellect, they express the knowledge in a very nice manner. But when it comes to application of that, there is a weakness. They are not able to take actions because, like how you said, that Maya is going to be coming, and Maya is going to gravitationally come. It's almost like a soldier at the border. So it's not that the enemy is not there, but till the time you are vigilant on the border, the enemy will not be able to attack just because the soldier has been protecting the border and has got no one attacking. Since some time, he may think, oh, no one is coming, let me relax. The moment he relaxes, the soldier from the other side will attack. That is Maya. So in Hindi, there is a quote which says, Nazar hati durgatna ghati. Means the moment you are off your virtues, your values, your practices, elevated practices, that moment Maya is already standing out to attack. So even if it comes, don't let it overpower you. And our thoughts gives rise to the way our body language is, to our physiology. And through that, we make we send across a message to the other person or people of how strong or vulnerable we are. So no point about talking about it superficially is what Baba said. It's time that you go reach to the seed and burn it. Just finish it off, not only pruning the branches of that weakness, because in some time it will come again. Very rightly, Baba gave also an example of the illnesses that are there in today's time, because allopathy medicines or some other medications that are there, doctors give not to completely cure but to suppress. So Baba said, finish the seed by knowing the seed and do it now, not saying I will do it some other time. Thank you, sister.
Vimish, I just have a small not question, clarification. See, over here, Baba's mentioning if after understanding the seed, you experience yourself the power to know the seed, but not the power to burn that seed, then take help. Now, I was just thinking, why, Baba, I cannot have a direct connection with you? Why? So, if suppose I have recognized the seed and I know I have the power to the seed, what is that gap which does not allow me to burn that seed? Why I cannot have a direct connection, or why? And he says, I must take cooperation. So, could you just say that what is that thing which stops me from burning that seed once I've understood and experienced my power?
So Baba said, Baba doesn't have a problem with you having a direct connection. But the thing is, the souls in today's time are so weak in their immunity that they are not able to directly put into action the practices what Baba is suggesting to elevate directly right now. That is the reason Baba said, take support of the Jwalamukis, all the other souls who have gone through it, so that they can facilitate you, they can handhold you into making it possible, who can give you the sustenance. They are also instruments of Baba, but they are there available in the physical form where you can go, you can talk to them, and where you can share your problems, or wherever you are experiencing that lack of power. That is why Baba said, no, speak openly, don't hide anything. Tell that, yeah, this is where it is. Don't ignore. First, don't hide. Second, don't ignore while knowing it. And don't just compromise on that. Don't just make do means, don't just compromise. Yeah, I want to leave, but what to do? My children. What about my security, my financial security of the future? What about this? What about that person came and told me, spoke to me like this? It really hurt me. All of these things are experiences which come out of body consciousness. Baba's saying just burn it in 1 second. But Murli after Murli, Baba's been talking after that. Every day the learnings are coming. We are not straight away taking it into action. We get into the knowledge of it, into the intellect of it, and then we share our intellect also with other people, which shows that yeah, we are very clever. But when it comes to taking actions, there is limitedness. Why? Because for so many years we've lived a life of attachments. So Baba is saying, I'm here. What I'm saying, you straight away do it. You will be able to connect with me. It's you who's coming in the way of your own self because of your attachments. And that is why he said, go through those souls, those elevated souls who have done those practices, who put those learnings into action, got results, so that you have evidences of it is possible. If that can answer your question, Kirchanan.
Yeah.
Yes, brother, we have to, we are having so many doubts as the questions you told now. So what happened in future, what happened, like that. So initially in the first step itself, we have to wash out all the traces of that weaker thoughts
Yeah,
generated within us. So at that
yeah,
time itself, we should be vigilant and
yeah,
Jwala Swarup, Shakti Swarup.
yeah.
Mm. So that's the point where we are lacking. So we are trying to eliminate inactions. So if we done there itself, then much of our energy will be saved and will be happy also.
Much of our energy will go in the direction of getting those results. Because we are fearful, that is the reason we don't surrender. We want the results, but we don't want to surrender. We have all these things, what will happen? What will happen? What if this? What if that? And Baba's, of the many examples, one example, one incident which uh, I have learned and has stuck in my mind is when uh, there was a time when they were in Abu, and the 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 sister came who was taking care of the Bhandara, where all the food, grains, and everything was stored, and were taking care of the kitchen. And I'm sure some of you must be knowing the story. And she came and told Baba, I said, Baba, there is not a single grain in the Bhandara. And what do we do for evening food? There is no food to give the children. And Baba, very nischint he was, and he said, just relax. Everything will happen. And time was passing by, and there was no sight of any help coming, of how the evening the food will be managed for all those children at that time. And then suddenly there is uh, someone who comes, the postman comes with a money order and gives the money order, and with that money uh, they go and buy the all the material to make the food, and the evening dinner is taken care of, and food for the next few days is taken care of. So this is what surrenderance is, when you don't have anything, but yet you have complete faith in the Supreme. That is the difference. What Baba is saying, that you cannot connect with, you can't connect with me. Why? Because you are yet attached with your emotions, with Maya. Baba just gave everything up in one moment. And that's why he says, take support from the other souls, so that they have already traveled that road to some extent, and they'll be able to facilitate it. So, the, whatever you are talking about, sister, is that just don't waste your time and energy. Rather, put your energy, channelize it in the direction of surrenderance. Burning the seed is, you know everything and you're just burning and say, I know. I'm going beyond my own self because I know the Supreme is there. Yes, my intentions are pure and I want to grow, I want to elevate. There's nothing that will stop me. All right, let's take a couple of moments to collate all the learnings through today's Murli. Take a couple of deep breaths, calm down your body, all your nerves, all your sense organs, and get a light, glowing smile on your face. Get into this world where Baba is wonderfully created, a world which you can create for yourself. That world which is beyond any weakness. That world where you are complete embodiment of power, where your actions speak about your thought processes. Give yourself this Swaman. I am an elevated soul. My thoughts are elevated. What I speak is also elevated, and my actions too are elevated. My actions are the mirror of my soul. I am a master, almighty authority, and I am the Supreme Father's powerful child. I am blessed to use the right power at the right time. I am beyond any fear or anything that holds me or binds me. I surrender and I let go of all fears and inhibitions that has held me back because of Maya. Cherish the goodness that Baba has to offer to me, and in turn, be the instrument to contribute to various souls around me. I surrender, I believe, and I am free. Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba. Thanks to everyone. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
Thank you, brother.